Hello, family. This is your friend Kenesha, and welcome to another episode of Momentum Monday. I just wanted to take the time to just say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, if you celebrate, and even if you don't. This is the time of the year where we can sit back and reflect and be thankful. We should always be thankful, but in particular, as we're winding down to wind up for the new year, I want us just to really focus on what you're thankful for. The people in your life, the peace in your mind, the projects that you have worked on, are going to work on. And I just want to say, have a Merry Christmas. Now, we're going to continue with our review of 2020. So let's lean in and enjoy. Because the thoughts are our seeds. And today we're going to talk about actions mirror our thoughts. That's right. Actions mirror our thoughts. And the definition for thinking, we've been using that for the last few months. It is the process of using one's mind to consider or reason about something, using thought as rational judgment. So that's going to be important for us. And Jack Canfield, he said this quote, "You only have control over three things in life: the thoughts you think, the images you visualize, and the actions you take." Now, whether you disagree with that or agree with that, I want you to know that we do control those three things that he talked about. And so I studied mirrors, and interestingly enough, mirrors have been around for well over 200 years. And the very first mirror was, drum roll please, water. That's right. Water was used as a mirror. It would be put into a particular item that had a dark coloring so you can see reflection. So obviously we don't still use water as a mirror. We use something else as mirrors. But here's what they said. It was interesting. It says there's some thought about mirrors that if you stare in the mirror in a dark room, when you're about 3 feet away for over 10 minutes looking at your own face, some people say that it causes you to hallucinate. It says you begin to see not just your face, but other faces, sometimes animal faces, contortions of faces. Now, I do not encourage you to go and try that. I can tell you I won't. But I do remember being a little girl in the story about Bloody Mary. But the whole part is what we see in that mirror is a reflection back to us. That's undeniable. So we'll be coming again from our book, As a Man Thinketh. This is by James Allen, and run out and buy this book yesterday. This book is phenomenal, and I've read it multiple times. So today we'll be reading from page 18, and it says, "Thought and character are one. And as character can only manifest and discover itself through environment and circumstance, the outer conditions," listen to this, this talks about actions. "The outer conditions of a person's life will always be found to be harmoniously related to his or her inner state." And today we're going to talk about cultivate the garden of your mind. So we still have the same definition, the word, and that word is thinking. And let me read it to you. It says, the process of using one's mind to consider or reason about something, using thought as rational or rational judgment. And then Melanie Carleroux said this, "Nurture your soul with positive thoughts, and internal happiness will blossom before your very eyes." So I looked up some tips when it came to gardening, and here are some things that it said. It says that when you want to be a good gardener, you want to make sure that you give your plant the sun at least 6 hours a day of the sun. It needs light. It needs to be exposed to something heavy. It says that you should keep it, if you're gardening, make sure that you garden close to a water source. Why water? Because we have to water seeds and plants for them to grow. And it has to be consistent. And then it says start with great soil. It kind of sounds like the mind to me. Start with a great soil. And then, ooh, this one's good. Learn frost dates. So when you're planting, you want to know the seasons of when it's time to plant and when it's time not to. So just think about that for our own lives. Do we know those dates, those seasons of our lives when things get tough and when things maybe are not so tough? Consider. So we'll be coming again from our book, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. I love this book. It is wonderful. And if you don't have it, run out and buy it. Now, the one that I have, it's actually a classic, and one of my friends bought it for me. So you may not be able to find this one, but you sure can find one on Amazon. They have several. So we'll be coming from pages 17 and 18. It says, a man's mind may be likened to a garden, which may be intelligently cultivated or allowed to run wild. But whether cultivated or neglected, it must and will bring forth. If no useful seeds are put into it, then an abundance of useless weed seeds will fall therein and will continue to produce after their kind. Just as a gardener cultivates his plot, keeping it free from weeds and growing the flowers and fruits which he requires, so may a man or woman tend the garden of his mind, weeding out all the wrong, useless, and impure thoughts, and cultivating toward perfection the flowers and fruits of right, useful, and pure thoughts. By pursuing this process, a man or woman sooner or later discovers that he's the master gardener of his soul, the director of his life. He also reveals within himself the laws of thought and understands with ever-increasing accuracy how the thought forces and mind elements operate in the shaping of his character, circumstances, and thinking. All right, family, I hope that you have enjoyed our 2021 review. Listen, remember, I am for you. I want your success, but I also want you to use this tip. Go back and review what your year has been like. Do some reflection so we can gear up for 2022. See you next week.